Welcome to this new live with Susanne and, well, myself, Ondine. Last week we talked about mindset. We talked about the fact that a mindset is a set of beliefs that shape our behaviors. It's a key component to our personality and it allows us to make decisions fast. So understanding what is your mindset and what are the beliefs behind is very important. And today we wanted to talk about resilience. So I'm going to invite over Susanne. She's just so that we can start having that wonderful conversation and continue our journeys for understanding who we are and why we behave the way we behave better. Hello, Susanne.
Well, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
I think you zoomed in a little bit too much.
I don't know. This is like, can you see me? My head's too big to fit in the picture. On. Sorry, this is the best I can do today. I swear I'm on fire. It's just not showing on the outside. So there we go. Hi, let's talk about resilience. You look lovely.
Yeah. Well, can you see me? Because I can only see the bottom of your face. Yeah, it's better. Maybe if you
see the bottom of my face, I can see both of us. So is this better?
That's better for me, at least.
Okay. Well,
I don't mind your chin, but I prefer the rest of your face.
What chin are you talking about? Okay, let's talk about resilience. Who cares? If you care, go right ahead. I don't anymore. I'm too old for this.
Oh, hello. I care about you.
Thank you for being here. Mwah.
Hello.
I listened to your intro. Keep going. I am like resilient.
Well, that was perfect timing, actually. I was ready. Just going through the intro to remind people that, it's an ongoing conversation, if I can say. We're just broadening from one important topic to another. And I actually love it because it shows the depth of our personality, which could seem daunting, but actually it's just fascinating.
Oh, I think it's absolutely fascinating. I love it. Like, the deeper I get into it, the more I learn, and that excites me now. Yes.
So last week we talked about mindset, and we were talking about fixed mindset and growth mindset, the ability to understand that nothing in your life is fixed. You can grow your capabilities, your skills. You do not have talent that is set when you were a kid, and you can take any opportunity to actually learn from that. And then we got into that topic about resilience, which we wanted to discuss today. It's another concept used in psychology, and it does not mean that growth mindset doesn't exist. Those are just additional ways of understanding, I want to say the same thing, but from a slightly different angle. I don't know if you're familiar with this drawing that shows different aspects of reality, and one person sees a circle and another person sees a cylinder and another person sees a rectangle, because it just depends on where they situated in compared to that object, but everything is true,
right? Exactly.
So growth mindset and resilience are basically this. It's a two different way of saying the same thing. How do we behave with adversity? And for me, what's interesting is resilience will be your ability to cope with difficult life events. So, for example, setbacks in your career. We talked last week about not being cast in a role. Could be injuries, happen quite a lot. Small ones, big ones. Series of small ones is sometimes the same as a big one. Death of loved one, loss of employment. I guess a few of us actually had to go through that last year or this year. So how do you return, and how fast do you return to your emotional state? Quite quickly. And if I remember well, you wanted to talk about how we perceive resilience in the dance and the ballet industry, because sometimes we understand resilience as, I'm really strong, I'm really tough, I have no bad emotion, I'm always having a good day, and it's not that at all. Go ahead.
I'm dying because I actually, in like reading through the definition of resilience, found that we use this, and I'm going to read it off here. Resilience is that ineffable quality that allows some people to be knocked down by life and come back stronger than ever.
Mhm.
Rather than letting failure overcome them and drain their resolve, they find a way to rise from the ashes. Meaning, you know, whatever happens to you, you're not going to be knocked down. You take failure as your fuel. Now, let me go back and see what I believed around resilience and what was taught to me at the dance school and in the ballet company around resilience. It meant to be tough,
Mhm.
not to be knocked down by pain or even allow yourself to feel pain, to not have any other emotions but happiness. Yes, just smile. The pain will go away if you smile. Or you just have to push through it. Like the more your blister hurt, the more often you should go on point and make yourself understand the pain. That was what I was brought up with. Another,
Or create a tough skin. Like you have
yeah,
to
just
actually go
tough,
through to,
you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
Mm.
And if you don't have that toughness, that resilience,
You're
you
not.
will not be successful. Another one was when there were things said that we talk about the abuse that is happening, mental. I'm going to label it as abuse because
It is
it
abuse.
it is still. But it was labeled as, well, if you can't take that, then you're not resilient. And if you're not resilient, you're not going to make it. And this is why it is so important that we actually really have that awareness, what resilience means to you personally,
Mm-hmm.
and what is being actually taught around resilience. Because the definition, I 100% agree, and it's great to have that resilience in life. Be mentally resilient to rejection,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a positive thing. It has nothing to do with overcoming weaknesses.
Yeah.
It has something to do with finding your strength.
I'd like to go back to the definition. Because I know the one that you quoted. It's not my favorite, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because I feel that it only talks about that kind of resilience that happens when everything in life is against you. Like, you know, people who have lost a loved one. Well, you know, it talks about raising from the ashes. And I just feel it's a bit strong. And some people may feel that it doesn't relate to them.
Okay.
And I like to feel and to think that I feel a lot of things. I'm a kinesthetic. I like to think that resilience is also that ability to sustain even the little setbacks, because you know accumulation of this little setbacks is as difficult as a big one in your life, and sometimes more difficult because you have to have that ability to go through it over and over and over and over, and sometimes you feel like you don't even have a break.
So I see your perspective and I love it. Can we perhaps reframe resilience to be, and I just had it, good Lord, it went away, to reframe.
Yes.
Like whatever happens to you, it is in your hands to reframe. Resilience has nothing to do with toughness and with, let's say, undermining your emotions, but it has everything to do with your ability to reframe every possible moment. If it's you falling off point in the middle of the stage, and what you're doing after is what really matters,
Mm-hmm.
and how you choose to react to it and how you feel about it, that is your resilience. Or how you react when something doesn't work, when you're being rejected.
Yeah.
So I hear what you say when you say this sounds like it's all the big things. It's not what I heard at all.
Which
But
is what I love when two
I
people
appreciate
share
it. That's
different
why
things.
we're good together. We have a question. Do you want to?
Go ahead, because I can't see very well. Can you see?
Oh, do you need glasses?
No, actually,
Does
there was a comment before.
acknowledge your vulnerability? So good. Does resilience require you acknowledge your vulnerability? That is, I would say, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yes.
I don't even think that we allow ourselves to acknowledge our vulnerability, particular in these studios, because it is all about being tough and working against your body, your thoughts, whatever your teacher has maybe taught you. For me, it was always you are lazy, Sam. You
Mm-hmm.
are a lazy person. That's just who you are. And you have to fight against that every single day.
That's fixed mindset as well in here.
Yes, sure. And did that leave room for vulnerability? No, absolutely not. Because if I would have allowed myself to be vulnerable and say, hey, today, I don't feel like it. I can't even get out of bed today. I just want to be on the couch
Mm-hmm.
and literally let my mind go. That would then just reinforce that, oh, actually, I am lazy. And if I'm lazy, I'm not going to get where I want to get.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
Want to bounce back on what you said before regarding resilience and what it actually means. Because a lot of people, as we said, and you gave a lot of examples that go in the same direction, and there was a comment also that says that people think that it's not having any emotion. Being mentally tough means I'm just like everything bounces out of me. Resilience is actually quite the opposite, and that's why I love this question about vulnerability. It is actually your ability to work through and manage your emotions to move on.
Oh, I love that. That
And
is so good.
so often, one of our vulnerabilities, we do not allow those emotions to do their work. The reasons we're feeling those emotions is to trigger a reaction, a behavior to protect ourselves because of human nature, because of instinct, because of your experience. So these emotions are actually quite important. If we don't listen to them and allow the work to happen in a positive and healthy way, this is where we get stuck.
Can I share an example? Because
Yes,
I'm
of
going
course.
through actually right now, or let's just say I'm already on the other hand, on the other end. Um, I had something, I hit my glass ceiling with where I want to go, where I want to be. And I could feel a lot of resistance coming into my old self, to that person that I am right now versus to the person that I want to become. Now, old me would have pushed through it. I would have not allowed the emotions to come in. I would have not allowed the physical dis-ease that was associated with having that glass ceiling melting. I would have not allowed it to happen. I would have thought, old me would have thought, I have to fight through it because I am tough. I have to be resilient. New me allowed myself to sit down, to have it, acknowledge it, live in that, and have it go through me. And by Sunday, it's like, oh, now I feel like I can breathe again. Now I feel something has shifted. Now I feel like, oh, that new version of me is actually coming in, which then allows me to take different actions. The fear goes away. You're like, I am more inclined to sit down and to think and to fuel me, my soul, and my body versus wondering what everybody else is thinking. And that's where resilience with your, I don't know if this is the right word, I'm just going to say it, resilience with yourself and around your experiences and your emotions comes in so strongly, if that makes sense. So this is also very new for me. This is why it maybe is still tumbling out of me. It's not really, it's very fresh. It's like a tiny little baby.
It is. It takes time, and there's ups and
Yeah,
downs. Because like everything, it's a skills.
yeah, but that's where resilience comes. You know, that's why it is so important for us to be resilient. I let me put it this way. My old belief, push through things to show that I am resilient, where resilience for me now is to actually allow it and sit with it, with the uncomfort, with the pain, with the anxiety. That is resilience for me, to not give up or give in to old habits.
Yep. There is a comment by Khaled. Thank you for following me, by the way. I used to work with him in Dubai. So resilience is about accepting failure as a natural and temporary outcome. And I would say 100%. Yes, that is one step to reframe what's happening and to allow you to be more resilient, accepting that it's natural and it's temporary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Louison is asking for the subject of the live. We're talking about how you can find resilience in your life and in your career. And we also wanted to talk about how we can nurture a different environment that actually allow for more resilient people in the dance world. So I did a little bit of research for you, Susanne, and I found one model that I like as an introduction to how we can not necessarily reframe, but at least bring an environment that allow resilience to grow. That topic, that model was developed by a pediatrician called Ken Kingsburg. He was working with kids and teens, so don't be offended if you're an adult, it works for you as well.
Works for all of us.
To help them be more resilient, because it starts quite early on. So it was actually, I thought it was really great to actually look into kids and teens. So he developed a model that is called the 7 C's model. Of course, those are 7 words that start with a C. Those are 7 capabilities, I would say, that you have to bring to the table to create that environment. The first one is competence. So by that, he means teach the skills for others to trust their judgments and start making their responsible choices themselves. The second one is confidence. Well, allow them to demonstrate their competence. So it drives back from the competence. The third one is connection. I don't think there is any specific order because they kind of feeds into each other. Connection, here it talks more about an environment. So friends, teachers, everyone around you, a community where you feel safe and where you feel that you belong. So then you have confidence that you can demonstrate your competence, that they are helping you develop. The fourth C is character. So by that, he means personality. So personality, nurture their uniqueness. Allow them to have their own individuality. And also in that, he puts also having a clear sense of right and wrong. The key word being clear. The problem is when people don't really understand where the line is. When it's gray, with too much gray area, it just doesn't help. Then you have contribution. Contribution is to give other people a sense of purpose. And I feel that this is something where we can work a lot in the dance world. Give them a sense of purpose, reinforce reciprocal relationships. I mentioned it a couple of times, but when I was younger, my teacher used to have healthy competition between us, where it would be like, you need to jump higher than the other one, or you need to turn a little bit more than the other one. But it was never mean, and nobody was upset when someone failed. It was more like, okay, you can do it. Now, just like everybody would cheer, actually, the person who just failed to manage to go further. This is the kind of environment he's talking about here. Then you have coping. So here it's also back to teaching other people how to cope with a certain event. So teaching them coping mechanism on how to handle stress, how to find coherence, for example, how to find flow state. If you're a professional dancer, that's extremely important to get on stage, to find coherence and flow state. And the last C is control. That goes back to the growth mindset a little bit. It's stepping away from a victim attitude into a problem solving, I can do kind of attitude. So remember that you cannot control the situation or what's happening, but you can control your decision, and you can control some of the outcome of your decisions. That was the last C.
Excellent. What stood really out for me was community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is not about being negative. Here is where I see the opportunity in the industry right now, and that is really truly having a community.
Yes.
Because it nourishes you. It nourishes you from the inside out. When you know that you belong to something, when you know that you have something and somewhere and somewhat and somehow, something you can fall back on, regardless how you feel and how dramatic perhaps your day was, that's everything.
It is, yeah.
And honestly, I never believed it. I have heard it for years and years. I was like, community, women community. Oh my gosh, like that scares me. It
Post-feminism.
really, right?
Yeah, I
It's
know.
because we don't trust. We don't trust ourselves, and therefore we're not trusting everybody else around us either. And building that community, having that community in the dance world, I feel is like number one priority. No, we can talk all we want about all the things that are going wrong and that are not working at this very moment.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody yet is so afraid of sharing it and stepping out and collaborating and being together and showing each other off because we are so afraid of losing.
Yes.
And
Yep.
that's the resilience that I feel we can build so much stronger by really combining our efforts all together and knowing that we have our bags.
Definitely. Yeah, I think a community is a great way. Well, when you have a great community where you feel safe, you can share those vulnerability. And what I notice is when I manage to create those groups among my students or trainees or some of my coaching, the first thing is they realize they're not the only one. And this is such a relief when you realize that you're not the only one going through that.
Yeah.
I remember when I was interviewing Jessica Chuan when she was struggling getting back from her injury because he was not recovering very well. She mentioned the hardest for her was not finding resources of other dancers who had to go through the same thing.
Yes.
So you just stay in your corner and you're sad, and it makes it even harder because if you hear someone else say, you know what, it's tough, it's going to take 2 to 3 months, then you can handle it because you know where the exit point is.
Yeah.
Still
Exactly.
2 to 3 months to go and suffer through that, but at least you know it's not going to be the rest of your life.
Yes. So community, that's where it starts.
Wow. And I think that was one of your ideas, right?
Well, yeah, you're building one.
So we talk about it.
We are, opening up a accountability group. We're starting on April 15th. We have only one spot open.
Only one?
Yeah.
That feels so fast.
I know it did, right? One announcement.
Wow, amazing.
That makes me so proud because that is definitely a step forward. Like I haven't seen that quick response yet. So what is the accountability group really about? Let me talk to you about that really quickly. It is a bi-weekly our 15-minute call where we get
bi-weekly in the sense every other week.
Every other week to connect with each other, to have time to say where we're at, where we want to go, how we can support and help each other. I am in several, and I tell you, it is life-changing. It has been life-changing for me, and it is still to this point because I go into these calls a little bit nervous. It's like, am I going to be enough? Am I going to add value? And every time I do it, I get a little bit better, a little bit stronger. I find a little bit more determination in my, thanks, Nayara, in me. and confidence as well. So we're gonna put that up one more time. And if you guys want to join us tomorrow, we are going to talk all about boundaries and how important they are. Boundaries in our lives, boundaries in businesses, and where we see the parallels between, I would say, the lack of boundaries in the arts right now and the boundaries that artists don't have yet.
So just finishing off on the accountability group. So there's one
Yeah.
spot left.
Yeah.
Who is it open to? Is it just dancers, teachers? Who is it for?
Oh, right. Dancers, teachers, coaches that are active in the dance space.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that is, let's just say it that way, everybody that is a performing artist and wants to have somebody to fall back on, wants to have a tiny community that talks very high level, that's who it's for.
Great. And so to register, they go to your account, right?
Yeah, you just DM me at Susanne Puerschel, or you go to point_2_rise and DM me there, and I'll take care of everything else.
Great.
Okay.
So we're having another conversation tomorrow on your account, right?
Yes.
Actually,
I was thinking we're gonna do that on the Point to Rise account.
Point to Rise account.
Yeah, totally. On the Point to Rise account, talking about boundaries and why they are so important.
I love this.
Okay. A specific age? Oh, great question.
Great question.
Wow. Do I have
I don't think so.
No. You can be 100 years. You can be 15. It really doesn't matter.
Well, Mary is quite young, but yeah, I think we only have adults for the moment, but I don't see any reason why a teenager cannot join.
Absolutely. I think that's
I would say quite the opposite. It's a great thing to get into an accountability group quite young, because you learn so many skills that will be very useful later on. And I feel sometimes when you're a teenager and you hear adults going through the same thing as you, very comforting.
Yeah.
Even very comforting.
Yeah. All right, my love. Good to see you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know what to do about the Instagram thing, but you know what? We'll figure it out. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. Love your question.
Thank you, everyone. See you very soon for another one.
Yeah, tomorrow. Okay. Mwah. Bye.